All right, look at this beautiful blue boot. These are the boots that Q is wearing today. I don't know if you'll get a chance to see them, but the question is, are your feet in the right boot? Dr. Jeffrey Frederick from North Point Foot and Ankle in Berkeley has come here, and he's brought plenty of boots to answer that question. All right, Doc, so what do you think right off the bat about Q's boot?
Well, Q gets an A for fashion.
Yeah,
There's no
cute,
doubt
right?
about it. It's extremely cute. I do like this boot.
I love the color, yes.
I love the color. It's probably very comfortable for her, but there's one really downside.
Yeah.
There's absolutely no traction in this boot.
She's going to go slip sliding away.
She's going to be slip sliding away, and that actually brings us to the three things everybody should think about when they're going to buy boots. And first is comfort, obviously.
Yes.
Second is warmth. The boot has to function, and that's the reason for wearing boots, is it has to provide some level of warmth. And third is traction. So you have to think about those three things together. If you look at some of the boots that we have out here, you look at the comfort material is a great soft material, and you have to always look at the bottom to see, okay, I have a little bit of traction there because I don't want to fall. Yeah. And the warmth factor is obviously really good in this boot. It has a lining. It's very soft and very comfortable. In fact, most of the materials you'll see these days don't necessarily have to be a thick material. It's just the type of material to keep you warm. So
now, some of them have different ratings. I mean, does that work if you start reading the...
Actually, yes. Because some of the materials today are so thin they'll fool you. You'll look at a material and say, well, that possibly couldn't be warm, but actually it absolutely is. So
now, why do our feet get so cold? It's just because they're so far away from our heart?
Absolutely is part of the issue, but the other issue is our feet sweat a lot. And if there's a lot of moisture involved on your skin, you're going to get really, really cold. And that's the beauty of some of the newer materials, is they help wick away or keep the moisture away from your skin so you don't feel that coldness.
Now, when it comes to socks, are there certain materials, because they sell those merino wool socks or other synthetic socks?
In the past, everybody used to think, well, I've got to wear a cotton sock because that's going to be the best sock in the world, and not necessarily so anymore. There's so many new manufactured blends, and a blended sock is much better for you, simply for the reason we talked about, keeping the moisture off of your skin. Cotton seems to absorb moisture, but it keeps it there, and it actually makes you more cold. So we really are looking for a blended sock versus a one material sock. So some socks have nylon, and some have cotton, and some have lycra, and a combination of all three is really a great sock. The worst sock that you could wear for you is the nylon material. 100% nylon is really, really bad. It does not absorb any moisture, and it just keeps it on your skin, so you get really cold.
Okay. All right, good. Yeah, because having cold feet is miserable. Waterproofing, you say, is very important. And
waterproofing is really important. Now, most boots, a boot like this is probably already pre-waterproofed. Yeah. But if you're going to be outside, and this is strictly
whose boot is that, Doctor?
This is a work boot, and this is the typical man's work boot that's going to be outside.
Work boot, all right.
Absolutely. But if you're going to be outside for extended lengths of time, we do suggest you get a waterproofing spray. It will keep the moisture out, because it's the last thing you want. Even though this is a good material, it can soak through, and it'll make your feet very, very cold.
All right, now, and you don't have to be super practical. I mean, you're saying that this type of boot, I mean, you would give this a B or a C?
This gets a B+, actually, because if you look at the amount of surface area that's going to hit the ground, it's much better than Q's boot was. Yes. Because the heel has some stability to it, and it actually passes the test because the material is one of the lined materials, and I bet you this is going to be really, really comfort because of the size of the heel is not so horrible. One of the things you got to think about too is there's always going to be one foot bigger than the other foot. So absolutely try both shoes on when you're going in to see what fits you and what doesn't.
All right, and you say to try the boots on later in the day.
We do know that your feet and legs are going to swell as the day goes on, and that's just the natural progression for everybody. So what we're trying to tell you is don't try them on first thing in the morning. They'll feel really comfortable, and then all of a sudden they're too tight on you.
And just real quick, what's wrong with this one? No traction?
No traction. All right. Very, very thin material, no lining. It's a nice style, but yeah.
Forget about it.
Absolutely.
All right, Dr. Frederick, thank you.
Absolutely happy to be here.
I'm going to go take Q's boot back to her. Got one boot on now. Alan?
All right.